Hi everyone, I know it's been a while, but first of all, I'm Hannah, a graphic designer and artist, and as you've probably already seen from the title, I just made my dream, my long-awaited dream come true and opened my first online store for my art pieces and my handmade stuff. And in this video I documented the whole entire process in a transparent way, all the ups and downs, because I didn't know anything about it when I started. I learned everything along the way. So it's been a ride, but especially because I had to do my bachelor's project, my side job and preparing an exhibition. Beside that, it's been a lot, but even though I've been so happy to put all my remaining time, energy into that project, and I also realized that this is the first project which didn't drain me at all, no matter how hard and annoying it was at times. I knew for what I'm doing it, I could actually pull strength from it, and it kept me going in this very hard and stressful times, and it really shows how much I burn for it, essentially. So if you have any questions, don't be shy and ask me in the comments. Maybe you're also thinking or dreaming about something similar, and I want to encourage you to pursue that. So I hope you enjoy the ride with me. Of course, don't forget to check out my new website with my portfolio and my online store, which I'm very, very proud of. There went so many of my life hours into it, but it was made with love, and I'm so happy to share this with you today. So with no further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, one more thing. Thank you to everyone who supported me during this time and endured me constantly talking about my shop and everything. So thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Bye. We are in the midst of September, and this morning before I had a doctor's appointment, I came to the realization that it would be probably very smart to track all the money I spend on production, material, packaging, and so on and so forth, because like that I will have a better overview about everything, and I think it will make calculating the prices later on also easier, and I want to have all the information I need together in one place when I will actually start to implement the actual shop website. And by information I mean the information on the material, the sizes, and also inventory. So I use Notion to do that. I use Notion for everything since a few years now. And that person that has lists and tables for everything, it's kind of horrible, but I need that. So I started with that for my appointment, and now that I'm back, I am supposed to do stuff for my bachelor's project. But the thing is, when I start things like that, I'm very excited for. It's so hard to not get distracted, and I can't control myself, and it's so gray outside, and I just wanna do the things for my shop. It's so much more interesting. I think I'm going to do a little bit of inventory right now, at least with the stuff I already have, and completing the table I started this morning, and after that I hope I'm going to continue with my bachelor's project. Wish me luck and self-control, please. Also, I have this container to have a little amount of every postcard motif at hand at my desk, and this is more for storage purposes. So I think this is very handy with those cards. Mia is the one motif I have the most of, and it's really hard to count because it's a really matte material and you can't move the cards just like a card game. So it's really slow to count these, and I always counted them in 10, so it's easier because I always tend to wander away with my thoughts and then I would have to start all over again, so this is a lot easier for me. Yeah, but after I have counted them, I think the rest is going to be finished very quickly. These linoleum prints are something I am planning to make more of, so I will have at least a few original pieces in my shop, even if it's not a typical painting, because I really have difficulties to separate myself from my originals, and I know that I will have to someday, because as time goes by I'm going to accumulate more paintings. So I can't keep them all forever, but right now I'm not ready to do so. Yeah, I'm happy if I can offer at least some form of original, because I know some people prefer that. And also these clay containers, I'm also planning to make a little more of them, so yeah, I will have a little special something to offer. Okay, it's still the same day, but kind of late, and I had such a weird day. Doesn't matter, I ended up watching YouTube videos on Squarespace versus Shopify, because I haven't decided yet on which tool for a shop website I want to use, and I have absolutely no idea which advantages each of those tools have. I mean, it's better to not starting to implement my shop until I had my in-between presentation of my bachelor's project in 4 weeks exactly. Starting to implement my website before I had this very important presentation would be very dangerous ground to go on because of the procrastination and stuff. Yeah, but I think deciding won't harm, because it still feels a little bit more concrete as soon as I have decided. But I don't know, Shopify kind of looks terrifying, but I think, or as I understood it, it's easier with taxes and payment, but Squarespace looks a lot more user-friendly when it comes to designing the website. So at the beginning I was like, oh, of course, Squarespace. It looks so fun and easy to design this. And please take everything I say with a grain of salt here. I've just watched 10 minutes of this video, so I'm clearly not an expert. I'm just an idiot with a microphone, so don't believe anything I say. But from my understanding, taxes and payment is easier to handle with Shopify, because it's doing a lot of it for you. And I have already been worried about payment and shipping, taxes and whatsoever. So that would be a huge advantage. And also, to be fair, I'm a graphic designer, so I'm not specialized in UX and UI design, but I also think that I should be able to handle a website building tool. We'll see. Okay, after I ordered the thank you cards a few weeks ago with this new illustration I made, I also wanted to make bookmarks to offer in my shop, because I think it's something else, and I really thought that this motif is also really suitable for a bookmark. I don't know, I really like it, and I really like that it's two-sided, so you can kind of decide which motif you want to see up front. Yeah, I'm really content how they turned out. Look. I shared my bookmarks in my Instagram story and announced that they will be available as soon as my shop goes online. But two friends of mine, a couple, directly responded, "We take two," and I found it super cute of them. So yeah, now I'm going to send them some. Here's the thank you card.
I also cut out this piece of packaging material from an Amazon package for stabilization. Yes. And I think I'll go with this postcard. The thing is, a lot of my friends already have most of my postcards because I really like to gift them to other people. Yeah, but it can't harm to have 2 of them. And I just thought it would be nice to write a little note.
It is a Saturday and unfortunately I will have to do some more uni work for my bachelor's project because I didn't do enough in the work week. What a surprise. But I spent the morning reading my book and I'm almost finished. And right now I'm about to go to the creative shop because I want to pick up some air dry clay. I hope that they will have some because, as I already told you, I wanted to make some more of my painted air dry clay containers for my shop, and since I don't have any clay left, I need some more. And I'm also going to pick up some film negatives I've got developed. I think I'm going to show the actual photos in an art vlog I'm also working on right now, but I think if you see this right now, the video already came out in late September or somewhere in October. So if you're really interested, you can see them there. Yeah, and I hope I won't get rained on because it's super rainy and grey outside. We'll see. So now that I'm back and my new Monstera is cared for because I had to repot her, and to clean her she wasn't doing so well, but let's hope that she's getting better soon. And this hobby shop was very strange actually. From the outside it looked quite small, but it seemed much bigger when you were on the inside because the hallways were very narrow. Everything was packed with lots and lots of random stuff, and since it's Saturday the place was pretty crowded. I could have spent hours in there, and every time I thought, okay, now I saw everything, there was another way around the corner. So very weird and so many random things there. Yeah. Let me show you what I got. I actually found air dry clay. It's not the same I used before, so I hope this is going to work equally well. We will see. And another thing I got for working with air dry clay is this cookie cutter, because before I always used a glass which I turned upside down and cut around the circular shape with a butter knife. So as you can probably imagine, this wasn't very user-friendly and made everything a lot more complicated and harder than necessary. And I'm really happy that it fits perfectly. I was a little bit worried that it's going to be too big. You know, I'm still a student, so I am really living on a budget, and when I started with air dry clay I didn't want to commit to working with ceramics because I didn't know if I am really going to practice that on a regular basis, and I also really don't like having stuff laying around I don't use. So I had to become a little bit creative with my tools. For example, I used this tool which is normally for bookbinding and this butter knife for cutting and shaping. I used an empty bottle as a rolling pin, but the other day I finally bought myself a proper rolling pin. Yes, and this glass which I used to cut out the bottom and the lid of the container. So yeah, I think this was a great decision and it will make my life a lot easier, especially when I want to make a bunch of containers for my shop. Yeah, we don't always have to make everything more complicated than it has to be, right? I also got 2 bigger brushes for watercolor, and this is what I found spontaneously. I got 3 little paper boxes, which I want to paint. I am still on the look for ideas for some cool originals I can offer, which are not huge paintings or something. I don't know, I think these are fun little extra things, unique things, and yeah, I don't know yet what I want to paint on them, but we'll see. I'm still hoping to find some more mini frames similar to these or glass lockets, but they are really hard to get actually. But this is one thing I would really want to offer. But yeah, there's still time left, so let's hope I'm going to find some in the future. My work for today is done, and now I wanted to print some more of those Linocut motifs. But this one, I don't know if I can use the stamp again because something came off. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there's a hole in here, and now this part will obviously not going to be printed. So I'm not sure if this is affecting the overall look of the motif. I have to see. But nevertheless, the irises can surely be reproduced, so at least I am going to do that. And it's going to be messy as always. Sadly, this one isn't working anymore because of that hole. Now, that's not a result I would want to offer in my shop, so yeah, unfortunately I can't use that anymore, but as soon as I have time for that, I am going to carve out a new one with a new design probably. If you have a shop website, you of course also need product photos, and there is still a lot of stuff I need to shoot. Next week my friend Emma is going to help me to take the product photos of my self-made necklaces. By the way, this is one of my necklaces I will also offer in my shop. It's a sun with a face. Anyways, today I want to shoot my tiny paintings. Right now I have just 4 tiny paintings, but I am planning to do more. We have those 2 and those. So not too many for now, but taking product photos is also kind of a challenge because first of all I don't know anything about it, and second of all my apartment is not very well lighted. So I was thinking that maybe I can take the photos on my balcony. Let's see how that goes, but because I don't want them to be boring. I don't want to have boring product photos. Yeah, I mean, of course, I am also going to shoot a lot of product photos on a blank white surface, but at least some detailed shots. I want it to be a little more exciting. So I got some pretty paper. I think this is totally my color scheme, and for detail shots it's going to be very pretty, I think. Of course I am not going to use it for every picture because then it would also be too much, but I think a little bit of it here and there will spice everything a little bit up. Oh, I completely forgot. A friend of mine asked me if I would already sell her one of my necklaces.
Yeah, it's this one with a little butterfly. I really like that a lot. Unfortunately, taking pictures on my balcony didn't work out quite as well, but my friend Emma was so sweet to help me with the product photos for my homemade necklaces, my illustrated cups, and also the tiny paintings. I literally had to drive through half of Berlin with 4 heavy bags filled with all the stuff we needed, including my softbox. All in all, we must have been busy for about 8 hours, but it was really worth it, and I am so grateful for Emma's help. Hello, just another update. I'm in bed watching Gilmore Girls and I've spent the last 5 hours to sort all of those hundreds and hundreds of photos from yesterday's 8-hour photo shoot. I really underestimated the amount of work. In the last hours I just sorted all of them and decided which ones I want to keep, and next step would be working on them in Photoshop, and this will be another whole bunch of work. Yeah, as I said, really underestimated that, but we are one step further, so that's good. So another clip of me in bed. It's super beautiful. I had my windows completely open the entire morning and it is still raining very hard. It's just very comfortable and I really needed a rest. So today I'm staying in bed and I wanted to measure all of my necklaces. This whole bunch here, because they all have random lengths, so I have to measure all of them because people would want to know how long a necklace is. So this is me spontaneously doing a photo session with this improvised setup, but the weather is pretty sunny today and I figured that, okay, I have a wide door, maybe I am able to manage to do some, oh my god, some product pictures. Okay. Here I am. Some product pictures by myself because I couldn't resist, and yesterday I made about 7 or 8 new chunky necklaces and therefore I of course also need product photos of them, so I am just doing that today. Yeah, and I'm super happy with these necklaces. I also made one specifically for myself. Wait. This is mine with little butterflies and cat faces or cat hats. Oh, okay, that was exhausting. I actually think I needed over 2 hours to shoot 7 necklaces, but I'm really not used to take photos of myself. I don't think that I'm very photogenic. Not that I think that I'm ugly or something, I'm just not used to it and I don't know what to do with all of my limbs and my face, and I don't know, it's hard for me. So that needed a long time and it's actually getting dark again, so very good that I finished just now. I also needed to take out my softbox so that I was able to finish the job. Yeah. Nonetheless, it was really worth it and I'm quite surprised how the photos turned out, and these are some of my favorites. They aren't edited yet, but I thought I'd just throw them in here. And I still have to take detailed shots of the necklaces when they aren't worn, but I think I will do this, I don't know, sometime later, and when I have all product photos gathered together, then I think I will have a hardcore editing session. Okay, we now have November 12th, on which I'm recording this voiceover, and since then a lot has happened, and don't wonder, I'm currently a bit sick, therefore my voice is quite a bit nasal. Anyway, I spent many evenings last month editing all my product photos. Then I made some more products, such as my clay boxes. I also painted small originals on cardboard boxes and on glass lockets. I uploaded separate videos for those as well. If you are interested, you can find them in the description box. Of course, I also took product photos of these new products, wrote down all the info about them, and edited them too. Since then I had almost all the content together, I wasn't able to control myself any longer and decided on a website provider, and then there was no stopping me. What a surprise! I've spent the last 5 days straight, 10 to 12 hours a day, putting in all the content and designing my website. I even completely redid my online portfolio again within this website because I don't want to have 2 separate websites. But even though I'm investing all my time, energy, and what money I can spare each month into this project, I realize how much joy it brings me. I've been really dreaming of this for such a long time. Should I have invested this time in my bachelor project? Would have been more appropriate, yes. But now that I had crossed the line once, I really couldn't pull myself together, and I'm hoping that once I've designed everything, I won't have to work on it so much anymore, so I can devote more time to my bachelor project. Also, things like payment processing, taxes, and shipping, I still have to research and still really worry about, and these things can only be set up when I'm no longer just using the Squarespace trial phase and have really subscribed to it anyways. Not sponsored, by the way. But I'm really proud of myself, and it's so nice to see everything finally taking shape. Ooh, and one more thing. Earlier this year I applied for possible exhibitions in Berlin and actually received one positive response. About how I did that with the applications, I also uploaded a separate video. You will find it in the description box too. But anyways, the vernissage will be, of course, 1 week after my bachelor final exam. This means that I would have to prepare the exhibition also during my bachelor phase. And then I thought, how cool would it be if I could already display business cards with my shop address at the exhibition? I know that it becomes already slowly utopian, but I want to try it in any case. And I think it might be possible, hopefully, because now I think I've designed and filled in the majority of things. It's only just fine-tuning and the organizational stuff like taxes and so on behind it, which I'm really afraid of. I just want to sell my little necklaces. And I don't know anything about all of this, so this makes me a little nervous, but we shall see. Okay, small little update. Today was a headache. Yesterday I registered a domain and subscribed to Squarespace so that I can really fully use the website. But today I registered for a small business so that it's official. Then I dealt with the tax office. I did a lot of research on taxes, and it's a lot. Really, it's a lot. It comes with a red tail because you check one thing off the list and then the next unexpected 3 things are coming. So yeah, it's really exhausting. Not that I'm really enjoying seeing everything falling into place and to see how everything takes shape. But especially in Germany, everything is a lot of paperwork. I've never done it before. I mean, I'm also registered as a freelancer so that I can take commissions, but a freelancer is not the same as a small business, so this is an extra thing. And I'm not even finished, and yeah, it's really a lot because there's still my bachelor's project, which has to be finished in about 2 months, and my side job, then this website, and the exhibition I just mentioned. I haven't even started on preparing for that, and I hope that this isn't going to be too much work. I think doing the little title tags isn't going to be that much work.
And I think once I've visited the gallery and know how to hang the paintings, I mean in a technical way, I hope that this isn't a thing that requires too much work. But the research on all of this tech stuff is still going on, and it's also a little bit intimidating, and there's this fear that you do things wrong and that it will have consequences. It's not very easy if you've never done that before. And because I'm graduating and starting a normal job, this is also changing things financially seen. It has been a little bit easier as a freelancer while I'm still studying. So yeah, but enough of that. On a good note, yesterday evening my partner helped me to figure out how I can probably solve the problem with shipping, because doing it with Squarespace in Germany isn't ideal, because it's better if you use it in the US. But I think we found a little trick so that it is going to work as I wish. Let's see, but it's a lot. What I really can't wrap my head around is that I am a small business owner right now with an official business bank account and an official PO box. This sounds almost ridiculous actually, but it doesn't matter. Last week I fought my way through the things with privacy policies, general terms and conditions. You have to put all these things on your website. I didn't realize how important this is until now. This is what I meant with red tail. There are so many things I haven't thought about, because how am I supposed to know these things? Yeah, and those are also the things I am kind of worried about, that I do things wrong and that there will be possible consequences or something, because when you're not familiar with those things, they seem even more intimidating, so you also can't really anticipate how bad things can be if you don't fulfill certain things you have to do as a business owner, or when you collect data from your customers or something. So I don't know, I tried my best, I really tried my best. And this is the not so funny stuff about it, but as I said earlier, I still enjoy it in some kind of way, even if it's hard and annoying, because these are also the necessary steps that get me to my ultimate goal, which is finally opening the shop at the beginning of February, even if that meant I really neglected my bachelor's project. But I also had a feedback talk with my professor, and she was, to my surprise, very content with what I have right now and said that I'm really good in time. I couldn't believe it because, I don't know, I think because we had this in-between presentation, which I worked really hard for, I did something really good for future Hannah, which is me right now. Because today I am benefiting from past Hannah's work. And just for understanding, my project is a bookazine. It's a mixture of a magazine and a book, and yes, it sounds ridiculous, but it is an official term. I'm doing a bookazine on the topic of how social platforms are influencing right radicalization processes. And this subject is a very sensitive, violent at times, and also kind of abstract to visualize. And second, I always had my problems with creating images just out of myself. So this is kind of an inconvenient combination, I would say. It's kind of hard, but what is positive and why I am good in time is, for this in-between presentation, I already collected all of my texts. I wrote introductory texts, and I already brought the texts I want to use in the right structure, so that I already know how and where they are going to be in this bookazine. And now that I'm figuring out the layout, this means As soon as the layout is officially standing, I can fill in all of my texts. I already have the structure and I can do this in power mode, I think. So after that, I can fully concentrate on creating the visuals for this subject. And as I said, it is not going to be easy, but I have to figure it out right now. I really ask this question to myself on a regular basis. Why did I choose a topic that is so hard to visualize when you already have your problems with this? I really don't know why I did that, but now that I did, I have to figure it out somehow. So yeah, but I digress. So yes, I think the shop is going to be ready on the beginning of February. The only thing that could be standing in my way could be the tax office if they aren't fast enough. I mean, 2 months is a very long time, but we all know that the clocks are ticking a little bit different in tax offices and stuff. No offense though, but those things always take a very long time if you are unlucky. So let's hope that I am lucky with that and that I'm officially registered and can start with selling. So let's see. Also, I already tried some things for social media when I announced that my shop is already open. I figured out what I wanted to write, and I also wrote, for example, which products I am selling, stuff like that. Not sure if this is final or something. Those are more like drafts, and also I am figuring out my business card. Hi, I just wanted to show you the business cards that came in, the business cards I want to lay out in the exhibition. Also, I've been to the gallery a few days ago to see everything, to meet the person who's organizing everything. And yeah, everything is pretty easy and uncomplicated. I already prepared a few things and I think it won't be too much extra work on top of everything else. So that's great. Also, almost everything I need for the shop came in the past few days. And among shipping supplies, which is very annoying to order, my mugs, my illustrated mugs came in. And in the next few days, my second motif will also come in. And regarding the shipping supplies, I'm living in a one-room apartment, so it's not that easy to store everything. So I have to store everything under my bed, but I have my mugs under there now, and also packaging stuff I want to reuse. For example, bubble wrap or boxes I received myself in the past, so that's all under my bed. And we have tape, paper tape, and those envelopes. I think this looks super official. Yeah, and everything else is down there. Very, very professional over here. So don't ask me what I was thinking yesterday, but spontaneously, out of the blue, I went live with my portfolio, just like that, and now my portfolio is live. In the settings of my website, I chose that the shop section is still private, so no one can see it, and I put up a little banner that says my shop section is going live at the end of January or beginning of February, so that if people will visit this website, they have the possibility to know. But it's not that people would break down doors just to get on my website, so I don't think that there will be much traffic, especially not if I'm not announcing that it is live, which I'm not going to do. I will spare that for the point of time where my shop is actually live. Another little thing is that I created a Ko-Fi page. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's similar to Patreon, but with less obligations. I mean, you can use Ko-Fi in the way you can use Patreon, but you can also use Ko-Fi just as a small virtual tip jar. And then people can support you with a very small amount or a very small tip if they like what you do. And I thought, why not just try it? Because I started the preparations
about 6 months ago, so I didn't have to spend everything at once. But opening and running a shop, of course, adds up. I mean, I'm talking about the art supplies, shipping supplies, stuff like a domain, my website host, a PO box, and so on and so forth. Just like I said, it adds up somehow. And I thought, why not just try it? If people want to support you but don't want to buy something off your website or whatever, then there is this possibility. And I really like it because if you use it like Patreon, or if you use Patreon, it's a whole nother thing, because the people that support you on a monthly basis. So this is one obligation, and you as the person that gets the support will offer things in return, which is very, very cool. And I really love the concept of Patreon because that gives artists the chance to work full-time or really part-time on their art. But right now I don't have this possibility because I have to start in a regular job for now. But you can also use Ko-fi, as I said, just as a one-time tip jar, or as many times as people want to give this tip to you. And yeah, I thought that's a really nice thing. I also integrated a little button on my website. I still have to figure out how I can switch the position, because I had to copy the code inside the code of my website. And I really don't know nothing about it, so I still have to figure out how I can change the position. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, if you want to support me on Ko-fi, you will find the link in the description box of every video on my YouTube channel in general, and also, of course, via my portfolio. Okay, it's time. I'm about to go live with my shop right now. Okay, we are doing it. Okay, I'm really doing this right now. And it's live. The shop is live.